The year was 2075. Humans had built homes on Mars and Europa, but had not yet met anyone from beyond the stars. Dr. Lisa Martinez looked through her telescope at the lunar observatory and saw strange light patterns from deep space. At first she thought they were just normal space events, but soon she realized someone was trying to talk to Earth. "Alan, come look at this," Lisa said to her friend and fellow scientist, Alan Wright. "These patterns repeat too perfectly to be random." Alan studied the screen and nodded. "You're right. This is not natural. Someone is sending us a message." For weeks, scientists around the world tried to understand the message. Then one day, without warning, a large ship appeared near Jupiter. It was bigger than any ship humans had ever built. The world watched in fear and wonder as the ship moved closer to Earth. World leaders gathered at the United Nations Space Council. Colonel John Peters sat at the table as Earth's military voice. His hands were steady, but his heart beat fast. This was the moment that would change human history forever. The ship belonged to aliens called Araxians. They looked like tall lizards that walked on two legs. Their leader, Zrel, spoke to the council through a translation device. "We come in peace," Zrel said, his scaled skin shining under the lights. "Our people run from a war that has burned across the stars for thousands of years." Zrel told them about two powerful groups, the Swarm Collective, which shared one mind across many bodies, and the Dominion Empire, which had the most advanced machines in the galaxy. These two giants had been fighting for control of space for a very long time. Many smaller alien groups like the Araxians were caught in the middle. "We came looking for a safe place," Zrel explained, "but we fear we may have led danger to your door." Colonel Peters did not fully trust the Araxians. "Why Earth? There are many star systems. Why come here?" Zrel blinked his large yellow eyes. "We have heard stories about humans. Your kind is different. You think in ways others do not." While the talks went on, Lisa and Alan worked in their lab studying the Araxian ship's signals. Late one night, Alan called Lisa over to his computer. "I found something hidden in their messages," he said, his face pale. "They've been sending out Earth's location on many different channels. It's like they're calling out to someone." Lisa felt a cold fear in her chest. "We need to tell Colonel Peters right away." But before they could reach him, alarms started to ring across the lunar observatory. The long-range sensors had picked up 3 large objects moving toward Earth at high speed. In the council room, Zrel's translator device fell silent as the Araxian saw the alert on the screens. His scales turned a pale blue color that humans would later learn meant extreme fear. "They have found us," Zrel whispered. "The Dominion has come." Within hours, 3 massive warships entered the solar system. Each one was shaped like a dark metal arrow and covered in weapons. They didn't send any messages. They simply started attacking Earth's small space fleet that guarded Mars. Navy Commander Susan Miller stood on the bridge of Earth's best warship, the USS Intrepid. Though she knew her ship was no match for the alien vessels, she gave the order to fight. "All ships form up behind Mars. Use the planet for cover," she said calmly. "Prepare all weapons." On Earth, Colonel Peters confronted Zrel. "You led them here. You put our whole planet in danger." Zrel lowered his head. "We had no choice. But you must understand. The Dominion doesn't just take over planets. They take everything. Resources, people, knowledge. They drain worlds until nothing is left." Lisa and Alan worked quickly to understand the alien technology. "If we can figure out how their shields work," Lisa said, "maybe we can protect Earth." In space, the Battle of Mars had begun. Commander Miller used tricks the Dominion had never seen before. She hid ships in the asteroid belt and attacked from unexpected angles. Her smaller, faster ships confused the Dominion's battle computers. "They fight using patterns and rules," Miller told her crew, "so we will break every rule they know." For a while it seemed to work, but the Dominion ships were too powerful. One by one, Earth's ships were destroyed or badly damaged. Soon, only the USS Intrepid remained, surrounded by the 3 enemy ships. The Intrepid's engines were failing and half the crew was dead or hurt. Commander Miller knew they couldn't win, but maybe they could still save Earth. She ordered everyone to escape pods and set the ship on a crash course with the biggest Dominion vessel. "Sometimes you have to lose a battle to win a war," she said, to her second-in-command as they parted ways in the escape pod bay. The USS Intrepid crashed into the Dominion flagship's engines at full speed. The explosion was so bright it looked like a new star had appeared in the sky above Mars. The Dominion ship broke apart, and the blast damaged the other two enemy vessels. The remaining Dominion ships, now hurt and unable to fight at full strength, turned away from Earth and disappeared into deep space. On Earth, people both celebrated and mourned. They had won their first space battle, but at a great cost. Commander Miller's brave act had bought Earth some time, maybe 6 months before the Dominion would return with more ships. Colonel Peters met with Zrel in a quiet room after the battle. "You didn't tell us everything," Peters said. "Why did you really come to Earth?" Zrel looked at the human with new respect. "We came because of stories we heard. Old Earth messages that traveled through space. Your movies, your books, your history. Humans fight differently than any species we know. You are unpredictable. You keep going even when you should lose. The galaxy has many smarter species, many stronger ones, but none that fight like humans do. And you thought we could help you win your war," Peter said. "No," Zrel replied. "We thought you might help the whole galaxy win this war, and today Commander Miller proved we were right." As night fell on Earth, Lisa and Alan stood in their lab looking at the stars. They had 6 months to prepare for the return of the Dominion, 6 months to learn alien technology, 6 months to get ready for a war unlike anything humanity had ever faced. "Do you think we can win?" Alan asked. Lisa looked at the piece of Dominion ship that rescue teams had recovered from Mars orbit. "I don't know, but I do know one thing. The galaxy is about to find out what happens when humanity enters the fight." 6 months passed quickly. The whole Earth worked together like never before. Old enemies became friends as everyone focused on one goal: survive when the Dominion returned. Colonel John Peters, now General Peters, led the new Earth Defense Force. Every day he met with leaders from around the world to plan how to protect the planet. "We need more ships," he told them, "and better weapons." Alan Wright and Dr. Lisa Martinez spent day and night studying the broken pieces of the Dominion ship. They learned how the alien shields worked and how to maybe stop them. "Their technology is amazing," Lisa said one night as she looked at a small power cell from the alien ship. "But they built it to be perfect, not flexible. That might be a weakness we can use." The Araxians helped too. Zrel taught humans about the many alien races in the galaxy and how the Dominion fought wars. He showed them maps of star systems and told them about planets where they might find help. "The Dominion has ruled half the galaxy for 1,000 years, Zrel explained. "They believe in perfect order. Everything must follow their rules. That is why they fear humans. You break rules all the time and find new ways to solve problems." In space, workers built a new ship called the USS Defiant. It was bigger than the USS Intrepid and used some Araxian ideas in its design. Navy Captain Frank Dawson was chosen to lead it. Frank had never wanted to be a captain. He had been happy as a pilot on one of Earth's small Mars ships. But after the Battle of Mars killed so many good people, including his old captain, Frank stepped up to help. "I'm not sure I'm ready for this," he told his wife the night before he left for space. She touched his face gently. "No one is ready, but you will do what needs to be done just like you always have." As the 6 months neared their end, Zrel came to General Peters with new information. "There is a place you should know about," the Araxian said. "A very old place at the edge of your solar system. My people call it the Archive." Peters looked at the star map Zrel showed him. "What is it?" "A space station built by the Precursors, a race that died out long ago. They visited Earth when humans were just starting to walk upright. They built the Archive and left it waiting." "Waiting for what?" Peters asked. "For humans to be ready," Zrel said. "The Precursors saw something special in early humans. A potential. They left technology there that might help you now." General Peters didn't fully trust the Araxian, but they needed every advantage they could get. He organized a mission to the Archive. He would lead it himself. taking Dr. Martinez, Alan Wright, and Zrel's scientist friend Krell. The small ship left Earth a week before the Dominion was expected to return. It took 3 days to reach the edge of the solar system where the archive floated silently. It looked like a metal ring with spikes pointing outward. It had been built before humans invented the wheel, yet it looked new. "How do we get inside?" Peters asked as they floated near it in their ship. Krell pointed at a dark spot on the ring. "That is the entrance, but only humans can open it. The precursors made it that way." Lisa went first in a spacesuit. She touched the dark spot and a door slid open. Inside, lights came on as if the archive had been waiting for her. The team went inside and found rooms filled with strange machines. At the center was a round room with a glowing ball of light floating in the middle. "What is it?" Alan asked, reaching toward the light. "The heart of the archive," Krell said. "It holds all the knowledge of the precursors." When Lisa and Alan got close to the ball of light, it pulsed brightly. Suddenly, light shot out and touched their heads. They fell to the floor, not moving. "What did you do?" Peters yelled at Krell, pulling out his gun. "I did nothing," the Araxian said calmly. "The archive chose them." After a few minutes, Lisa and Alan woke up. Their eyes looked different, brighter somehow. "We can see it all now," Lisa said, her voice full of wonder. "The precursors, they knew about humans. They studied us when we were just starting. They saw something in our minds that no other species had." Alan nodded. "We think differently. Our brains formed in unusual ways. We can make mental jumps that other species can't. That's why they left this place for us." The archive showed them plans for weapons and shields that could stop even the strongest Dominion ships. And most importantly, it showed them a defense system that used human brain patterns to work. "The precursors built technology that only humans can use completely," Lisa explained. "It links with our minds and uses our natural creativity to make itself stronger." They quickly gathered all the information they could. As they worked, Alan made an amazing discovery. "Look at this," he said, pointing to a screen that had appeared in the air. "The archive has been watching Earth. It knows the Dominion is coming back." The screen showed the space near Jupiter. 3 Dominion ships were there. The same 2 damaged ones from before, now fixed, plus a new, bigger ship. "We need to warn Earth," Peter said. "How long until they reach us?" "Hours, maybe," Lisa said, looking at the data. "But there's something else coming too. Look, on the other side of the solar system, another ship was approaching. It was unlike the Dominion ships. It looked like it was made of flesh rather than metal." "What is that?" Peters asked. Krell's face showed fear. "That is a swarm collective ship. The other great power in the galaxy has arrived too." "Are they here to help us or hurt us?" Peters asked. "I don't know," Krell admitted. "The swarm is very different from the Dominion. They share one mind across many bodies. They might want to talk, or they might want to add humans to their collective mind." As they rushed back to their ship, Peters sent an urgent message to Earth. "Dominion has returned, bringing valuable information from the archive. But we have a new visitor too. Prepare for anything." Back on Earth, Captain Frank Dawson received the message while on the bridge of the USS Defiant. He ordered all systems ready for battle. "Send word to all ships," he said. "The enemy has returned and we have a new unknown player in the game. This is what we've been preparing for." As the first Dominion ships appeared in Earth's sky, humanity prepared for its second space battle. But this time, they had new knowledge, new ships, and a new understanding of their place in the galaxy. The real fight was just beginning. The USS Defiant moved into position near Earth's moon. Captain Frank Dawson stood on the bridge, watching his screen as the Dominion ships came closer. His ship was the best humans had ever built, but he knew it might not be enough. "All weapons, ready?" he ordered. "Shields at full power." The other human ships formed a line behind the Defiant. There were 30 of them, built quickly over the last 6 months. Their crews were brave but new to space fighting. On one of the smaller ships was Olivia Green. 6 months ago, she had been fixing cars in Ohio. Now she was flying a space fighter. She was scared but ready. "Stay in formation," she told the 5 pilots in her group. "Remember your training." The Dominion ships were now close enough to see clearly on the screens. The two smaller ships moved to the sides while the big new ship came straight toward Earth. "They're getting ready to attack," Frank said to his crew. "Stand by." But then something strange happened. The Dominion ship stopped. A message came through to all Earth ships. "Humans of Earth, this is Commander Vex of the Dominion. You fought well in our last meeting, but now you will join the Empire. Drop your shields and prepare to be boarded. If you fight, we will destroy your world." Frank looked at his second in command. "They're giving us a chance to give up, that's new." "Maybe they're scared of us," his friend replied. Frank smiled a little. "Let's give them something to really be scared of." He opened a channel to all ships. "This is Captain Dawson. The Dominion wants us to surrender. I say we show them how humans answer threats. All ships prepare to attack on my mark." Just as Frank was about to give the order, another message came through. This one was from General Peters, who was racing back from the archive with Dr. Martinez and Alan Wright. "Captain Dawson, hold your position. We have new information and a new player entering the field. The Swarm Collective ship is approaching from the other side of Earth. We don't know yet if they're friends or enemies." Frank looked at his scanner and saw the strange ship that General Peters mentioned. It was huge and looked like it was alive, with parts that moved like muscles rather than machines. "All ships hold position," Frank ordered. "Watch both sides carefully." The swarm ship moved past Earth without attacking and positioned itself between the human fleet and the Dominion ships. Then it sent out a message that everyone could hear. "We are Nexus of the Swarm. We have watched this system and have interest in the humans. Dominion, you will leave this place." The Dominion commander answered quickly. "This world is claimed for the Empire. The Swarm has no right to interfere." While the two alien powers argued, General Peters' ship arrived at the human fleet. Peters, Lisa, and Alan came aboard the Defiant right away. They carried strange devices from the archive. "Captain, we need to connect these to your ship systems," Lisa said, her eyes still glowing slightly from her connection to the archive. "What are they?" Frank asked. "Weapons and shields the precursors made for humans to use," Alan explained. "They link with our minds and become stronger because of how we think." As they worked to install the devices, General Peters met with Frank on the bridge. "The swarm ship contacted us on our way back. They want to talk, not fight. They hate the Dominion as much as the Araxians do." "Can we trust them?" Frank asked. "I don't know, but right now they're keeping the Dominion busy while we get ready." Outside, the argument between the Swarm and Dominion was getting worse. The swarm ship moved closer to the Dominion forces, and both sides powered up their weapons. "Sir?" one of Frank's crew called out. "The Swarm is asking to send someone to our ship to talk. Someone called Nexus." Peters and Frank looked at each other. "Let them come," Peters decided, "but be ready for anything." A small part of the swarm ship broke off and flew toward the Defiant. It docked, and a strange being came aboard. Nexus had 3 bodies that moved together as one person. They were smooth and gray with many eyes and 4 arms each. "We greet the humans," all 3 bodies said at the same time. "We have watched your kind with interest." Peter stepped forward. "Why have you come here?" "The Dominion must not have this world," Nexus answered. "Your species thinks in ways that are new to the galaxy. The Dominion would destroy that. We wish to learn from you, to add your uniqueness to our own. We don't want to be part of your swarm mind," Peter said firmly. "We do not ask for that. We ask for alliance against a common enemy." While they talked, Lisa and Alan finished connecting the precursor devices to the Defiant systems. As soon as they turned them on, something amazing happened. The ship's lights glowed brighter, and everyone on board felt a strange tingle in their minds. "What's happening?" Frank asked. "The precursor technology is linking with everyone on the ship," Lisa explained. "It's reading our thoughts and using them to make the ship's systems work better." Suddenly, alarms went off. The Dominion had lost patience and was attacking the swarm ship. The biggest Dominion ship fired a weapon that cut right through the swarm's defenses. "The Dominion ship has a planet-killer weapon," Nexus said, their bodies showing signs of pain as their main ship was hurt. "If they use it on Earth, all life will be destroyed." Frank looked at his screens. The swarm ship was badly damaged but was still fighting back. The two smaller Dominion ships were now heading toward Earth. "We need to stop them," Frank said. "General, should we use the new weapons?" Peters nodded. "All ships, attack the Dominion vessels. Captain Dawson, the Defiant will target the main ship." As the human fleet moved forward, Olivia led her fighters toward one of the smaller Dominion ships. "Follow me," she told her team. "We'll go for their engines, just like Commander Miller did at Mars." The precursor technology on the Defiant came fully to life as the battle began. The ship moved faster than should have been possible. Its weapons fired with perfect timing. The crew found they knew exactly what to do without being told. "It's reading our intentions," Lisa said excitedly. "The ship is becoming an extension of our minds." The Defiant fired all weapons at the main Dominion ship. The blasts hit harder than they should have, breaking through the alien shields easily. "How is this possible?" the Dominion commander asked over the open channel. "Your technology is too primitive." "Not anymore," Frank replied as he ordered another attack. Across the battlefield, Olivia and her fighters found that they too were thinking more clearly, working together perfectly. They flew complex patterns around the Dominion ship, confusing its targeting systems. "They can't predict what we're going to do," Olivia realized, "because we don't know ourselves until we do it." The human fleet, though outnumbered and still outgunned, was winning. The precursor technology, designed to work with human minds, gave them an edge no one had expected. As the battle turned in Earth's favor, the main Dominion ship made one last desperate move. It aimed its planet-killer weapon directly at Earth. "All ships focus fire on that main ship," Frank ordered. "We have to stop that weapon from firing." The future of humanity hung in the balance as every human ship raced to stop the Dominion before they could destroy Earth. Time seemed to slow down as the Dominion's main ship prepared to fire its planet-killer weapon at Earth. On the USS Defiant, Captain Frank Dawson knew they had seconds to act. "All power to forward weapons," he ordered. "Everyone focus your thoughts on the target." The precursor technology linked to the crew's minds sensed their shared goal. The ship's weapons glowed with energy, drawing power from the collective will of the humans aboard. "Fire," Frank commanded. The Defiant unleashed a beam of energy more powerful than anything a human ship had ever created. It struck the Dominion vessel just as its planet killer began to activate. The blast tore through the alien ship's hull, causing explosions across its surface. But it wasn't enough. The Dominion ship was damaged, but still operational. Its weapon continued charging. "We need more power," Lisa said from her station. She and Alan were directly connected to the precursor systems. "The ship can't do this alone." General Peters made a quick decision. "Contact all human ships. Tell everyone to focus their thoughts on stopping that weapon. The precursor tech can link us all together." The message went out to every human vessel. On her fighter, Olivia Green heard the strange request. "They want us to think about stopping the weapon? How will that help?" one of her pilots asked. "Just do it," Olivia said. "Focus like your life depends on it, because it does." Across the human fleet, thousands of minds turned their attention to a single goal. The precursor devices on the Defiant began to glow brighter as they picked up the mental energy of not just the crew, but every human in the battle. The swarm ship, though badly damaged, sensed what was happening. Nexus spoke through the communication system, their three bodies moving in perfect sync on the Defiant's bridge. "We will add our mind to yours," they said. "The swarm's many bodies think as one. We will help you focus." A strange feeling swept through the human ships as the swarm consciousness gently touched their minds. It didn't take over or control, but rather helped organize the chaotic human thoughts into a more powerful pattern. "Now!" Lisa shouted. The Defiant fired again, but this time every human ship fired at the same moment, all targeting the exact same point on the Dominion vessel. The shots, guided by the combined mental focus of the fleet, converged with impossible precision. The Dominion ship's shields failed completely. The combined attack cut through its hull and struck the planet-killer weapon just as it was about to fire. The weapon's massive energy turned back on itself. For a moment, the Dominion ship glowed like a small sun. Then it exploded in a blast that lit up Earth's sky even in daytime. The two remaining Dominion ships, seeing their flagship destroyed, turned to escape. But Olivia and her fighters were ready. "Don't let them get away," she told her team. "They'll just come back with more ships." The human fighters chased the Dominion vessels, their minds still linked through the precursor technology. They flew in patterns that seemed random but were perfectly coordinated, confusing the Dominion's targeting. "Computers." Olivia's fighter took a hit and began to spin out of control, but instead of panicking, she found herself instinctively knowing what to do. The mental link with the other humans gave her access to their combined knowledge and experience. She stabilized her ship and rejoined the attack. One by one, the human fighters knocked out the engines of the Dominion ships, leaving them drifting helplessly in space. On the Defiant, Frank watched the fighters with pride. "Have boarding teams ready," he told his crew. "We're taking those ships. I want their technology and any information they have." As the battle ended, the mental link between the humans slowly faded. Many felt tired, but also amazed at what they had just experienced. "Did we just share minds?" Frank asked Lisa. She nodded. "Not completely, but the precursor technology let us connect in a way humans never have before, and the swarm helped us focus that connection." Nexus stepped forward. "Your minds are different from any we have encountered. Individual yet able to work together, chaotic yet purposeful. The Dominion could not predict you because you do not think in patterns their computers can understand." General Peters looked out at the damaged but victorious human fleet. "We won this battle, but the Dominion is vast. They'll send more ships when these don't return." "Yes," Nexus agreed. "This was only one small fleet. The Dominion has thousands of ships across many star systems. They will come in greater numbers next time." The human leaders gathered on the Defiant to discuss what to do next. Frank, Peters, Lisa, and Alan met with Nexus and Zrel the Araxian in the ship's meeting room. "We should take the fight to them," Frank suggested. "Use the precursor technology to upgrade more ships and attack Dominion worlds." "That would be suicide," Zrel said. "Even with this new technology, you are still outnumbered thousands to one." Lisa had been quiet, her mind still partly connected to the precursor systems. "There's another way," she said suddenly. "The archive showed me something, a message system that can reach across the galaxy." Alan nodded excitedly. "She's right. The precursors built a network of communication devices. If we can activate it, we can contact every species that the Dominion has conquered or threatened." "A call for allies," Peters said thoughtfully. "But why would they help us? If they haven't been able to defeat the Dominion in thousands of years, why would they join us now?" "Because now there is hope," Nexus answered. "Many species have fought the Dominion and lost. They submit because they see no alternative. But you humans have done what was thought impossible. You defeated a Dominion attack fleet with just a handful of ships. And we can share the precursor technology," Alan added. "It doesn't just work with human minds. The archive says it can be adapted for other species too. Not as perfectly as with humans, but well enough to give everyone a fighting chance." "A galactic alliance," Frank said, warming to the idea. "With Earth at its center." Peters wasn't fully convinced. "That's a big step, going from defending our planet to leading a galactic war." Olivia had joined the meeting after landing her fighter. Though she was just a pilot, her performance in the battle had earned her a place at the table. "We don't have a choice," she said simply. "The Dominion won't stop coming. We either take the fight to them or wait for them to overwhelm us." The room fell silent as everyone considered her words. Finally, Peters nodded. "Lisa, Alan, can you activate this communication network from the archive?" "Yes," Lisa answered, "but we'll need to go back there and use the main systems. It will take time." "Then that's our next move," Peters decided. "We'll send a message to every corner of the galaxy. We'll tell them that humanity has entered the fight and we invite anyone who wants freedom from the Dominion to join us." As the meeting ended, Frank looked out a window at Earth, peaceful and blue below them. In just a few months, humans had gone from thinking they were alone in the universe to preparing to lead a galactic rebellion. "Everything is about to change," he said quietly. Nexus stood beside him, their three bodies watching Earth with their many eyes. It already has, they replied. The galaxy has begun to shake. 3 months after the battle with the Dominion, the archive had been transformed. What was once an empty space station now buzzed with activity. Humans worked alongside aliens from a dozen different worlds, all united by one goal: freedom from the Dominion. Dr. Lisa Martinez stood at the center of it all. Her mind was now permanently changed by her connection to the precursor technology. She could see patterns and possibilities that others couldn't. Right now, she was helping a group of bird-like aliens called the Vrel adapt the precursor devices to work with their unique minds. Try to think of it as an extension of yourself, she explained. Not a tool you use, but a part of who you are. The lead Vrel scientist, with blue feathers and 4 wings, clicked its beak in understanding. Like how we feel our wings without thinking about them. Exactly, Lisa smiled. Across the room, Alan Wright worked with engineers from Earth and 5 other worlds. They were building new ships that combined technology from all their cultures with the precursor designs. The power systems from the Araxians work perfectly with the swarm's biological components, Alan told them. And when we add the human-designed control systems, it creates something entirely new. The call that humanity had sent across the galaxy had been answered beyond anyone's expectations. Dozens of species that had been conquered or threatened by the Dominion saw a chance for freedom. Ships arrived daily, bringing representatives from worlds humans had never heard of. On the observation deck, General Peters met with the leaders of the growing alliance. Nexus of the swarm was there, along with Zrel and leaders from 10 other species. They gathered around a holographic map of the galaxy. The Dominion has gone silent since our victory, Peters said. Our scouts report they're pulling ships from across their territory and gathering a massive fleet. They mean to crush us before our alliance grows stronger. How much time do we have? Asked Kroll, a stone-skinned giant from a heavy gravity world. 2 weeks at most, Peters answered. They're bringing hundreds of ships, maybe thousands. We cannot match those numbers, Zrel said, his scales changing color with worry. Even with all our allied ships, we have barely 200 vessels ready for battle. Captain Frank Dawson, who had been studying the map quietly, spoke up. We don't need to match their numbers. We just need to hit them where it hurts. All eyes turned to him. Frank pointed to a spot on the map. This is Dominar, their capital world. The Dominion spreads their forces across the galaxy, but their command center is here. Their emperor, their central computers, their main shipyards, all in one place because they've never faced a serious threat there. It is heavily defended, Nexus pointed out, their 3 bodies moving around the hologram to look at it from different angles. No enemy has ever reached Dominar. That's why it's perfect, Frank said. They won't expect us to try. Peters nodded slowly, seeing the plan form. A direct strike at their heart while their fleet is away. Bold, but extremely dangerous. Humanity specializes in dangerous, Frank replied with a small smile. While the leaders discussed the plan, Olivia Green was training new pilots. After her success in the previous battle, she had been promoted to flight commander. Now she led pilots from 7 different species. The Dominion fights with perfect patterns, she told them as they practiced in flight simulators. They expect you to do the same, so don't. Be unpredictable. Change direction when it makes no sense. Attack from angles they don't expect. A young human pilot raised his hand. But won't that just look like chaos? How do we work together if we're all being random? Olivia smiled. That's where the precursor tech comes in. It will link our minds just enough that we'll sense each other's intentions. Our chaos will have a pattern that only we can see. As the training continued, Lisa called everyone to the archive's main chamber. The great ball of light at its center pulsed faster than usual. The precursors left something else here, she announced. Not just technology, but a message intended only for humans. The archive has decided it's time for us to hear it. The leaders and many others gathered around. The glowing ball expanded, and an image formed in the air. It showed a tall being, with 4 arms and eyes that glowed with inner light. A precursor. Children of Earth. The image spoke in a voice that somehow everyone could understand in their own language. If you are seeing this, you have reached the stars and found others there. You have also found conflict, as is the way of all life. The image changed to show the galaxy as it was millions of years ago. We precursors once ruled much of this galaxy. We had technology that could reshape worlds and minds that could touch the fabric of space itself. But we were not perfect. We created the beginnings of what you now call the Dominion, a system meant to bring order to chaos. But it grew beyond our control. We knew we could not defeat what we had created, so we looked for another solution. We studied the young species of the galaxy, searching for one with the potential to think differently. On your Earth, we found early humans. Your minds were unique, chaotic but creative, individual but capable of deep connection with others. We saw what you could become. So we left this archive and its technology, designed to work with human minds in ways no other species can match. Not because humans are stronger or smarter, but because you are unpredictable. Your chaos is your strength. The image of the precursor returned. The galaxy needs what humanity brings, the ability to break patterns, to find new ways when old ones fail, to create order from chaos rather than imposing it from above. This is why the Dominion fears you. This is why you must lead. The message ended, and the chamber fell silent. Everyone looked at the humans with new understanding. Finally, General Peters spoke. Well, I guess that settles it. We take the fight to Dominar. The next 2 weeks passed in a blur of preparation. The fleet of Allied ships grew as more arrived, but they were still vastly outnumbered by the Dominion forces. On the day of the EA battle, Lisa, Alan, Peters, and Frank stood on the bridge of the USS Defiant, which had been upgraded with the best technology from a dozen worlds. All ships report ready, Frank said. The Dominion fleet is still gathering near Earth, expecting us to defend there. Peters looked at the faces of his fellow humans, then at the alien allies on the bridge. Send the signal. All ships jumped to Dominar. The Allied fleet vanished into sea, jump points leaving the solar system behind. When they emerged near Dominar, the planet's defenders were caught completely by surprise. The battle was fierce but quick. With the main Dominion fleet away and with the precursor technology linking the Allied forces into a single fighting unit, they broke through the defenses easily. Olivia led the fighter attack on the main defense stations. Just like we practiced, she told her mixed species squadron. Unpredictable but coordinated. They flew in patterns that made no sense to the Dominion computers, but were perfectly clear to the pilots linked by the precursor tech. When the Defiant reached the planet, Frank sent a message to the Dominion Emperor. Your forces are defeated at Earth. Your capital is surrounded. The choice is simple. Surrender or be destroyed. The Emperor, who had never known defeat, could not believe what was happening. How is this possible? You are just one planet, a primitive species we were, Peters told him. But now we're something else. We're the ones who break the pattern. We're humanity. And we've entered the fight. The Dominion surrendered that day. News spread across the galaxy faster than any ship could travel. The empire that had stood for thousands of years had fallen to a species that had only reached space a century before. In the years that followed, the Alliance grew into a new kind of galactic government, one that valued freedom and difference rather than control and uniformity. Earth became a center of learning where species from across the stars came to study the unique human way of thinking. And in the archive, Lisa had the precursor message carved into stone so no one would forget. The galaxy needs what humanity brings. The ability to break patterns, to find new ways when old ones fail, to create order from chaos rather than imposing it from above. The universe would never be the same. The galaxy had shaken, and a new age had begun.